Welcome to today's What Will Move the Market show. I'm your host Prem. It's Friday, December 5th, 2025, and here is everything you need to know as the markets open for today. Wall Street wrapped up Thursday on a cautiously optimistic note, with all three indices finishing in positive territory but near their session lows, indicating some profit-taking after recent rallies. The Dow Jones Industrial Average declined by approximately 32 points, or 0.1%, closing at 47,850 points. The S&P 500 edged up by 7.4 points, or 0.11%, to finish at 6,857. The Nasdaq Composite gained 51 points, or 0.22%, ending at 23,505. The market was buoyed by renewed expectations of a Federal Reserve rate cut next week on December 10th, as employment data suggests continued softening in the labor market. However, traders are cautiously positioned ahead of the Fed's December meeting, with significant uncertainty about how many dissenting votes might emerge. Intel tumbled nearly 8% after announcing it would retain its networking and communications unit, contrary to earlier divestiture plans. Turning now to Indian ADRs trading on Wall Street. Infosys ADR showed strength overnight, gaining 3.6%, reflecting positive sentiment around India's IT services sector. HDFC Bank ADR ticked up marginally, rising 0.25%. ICICI Bank ADR remained essentially flat, while Reliance Industries GDR 0.69%. Overall, the Indian banking and IT ADRs held their ground overnight, with Infosys showing the most momentum on the back of positive business sentiment around India's technology sector. These overnight moves set a constructive tone for domestic Indian investors as they await the opening bell. Moving to Asian markets and GIFT Nifty, the early morning picture shows mixed signals across the region. The Nikkei 225 in Japan has pulled back by approximately 743 points, or 1.46%, reflecting some weakness and profit-taking in the Japanese market. The Hang Seng Index in Hong Kong declined by 83.90 points, or 0.32%. Shanghai Composite slipped marginally by 2.28 points. The early morning GIFT Nifty is trading around 26,183, down 5.50 points from yesterday's close, or 0.02% lower. This slight softness in GIFT Nifty suggests the market is pausing ahead of today's critical RBI monetary policy decision announcement at 10 a.m. The modest decline in GIFT Nifty indicates that sentiment remains guarded, with investors clearly positioning ahead of what could be a market-moving announcement from RBI Governor Sanjay Malhotra. On the global economic front, crude oil has been supported by geopolitical tensions. Brent crude is trading around $63.24 per barrel, up 0.91% from yesterday, as Ukrainian strikes on Russian oil infrastructure continue to raise supply concerns. This supports sentiment around energy stocks in India. Gold and other precious metals remain relatively stable in international markets, but the focus today remains squarely on monetary policy decisions. Domestically, today marks a pivotal moment for Indian markets as RBI Governor Sanjay Malhotra concludes the three-day Monetary Policy Committee meeting and will announce the decision at 10 a.m. Markets are divided on whether the central bank will cut the repo rate by 25 basis points or hold steady at 5.5%. Economists and fund managers are split, with some expecting a cut given that inflation has eased significantly below the RBI's 4% target and has been running at extremely benign levels around 2.6%. However, others argue for a pause, citing India's robust economic growth of 8.2% in the September quarter, which is the fastest pace in 18 months. The outcome today will be crucial, as not only the rate decision matters, but also the RBI's forward guidance and the tone of the announcement will signal whether the easing cycle is genuinely beginning. A positive or dovish tone could trigger a sharp rally, potentially pushing Nifty beyond 26,200, while a cautious or hawkish stance could drag the index toward 25,900 or below. On the technical front, the Nifty 50 faced significant resistance around 26,100 and above, with intermediate resistance at 26,150 to 26,200. Immediate support is placed at 25,950 to 25,900, with a critical break below 25,900, potentially opening the way toward 25,750. For Bank Nifty, the index has formed a consolidation pattern, with key resistance around 59,800 and immediate support at 59,000 levels. A successful breakout above 59,800 on the back of positive RBI commentary could push the index toward 60,400 to 61,000. Here is the key theme for traders and investors today. The RBI policy announcement is the dominant event. Risk and position sizing and stop-loss placement become critical. Given the two-sided nature of the outcome, consider maintaining a flexible approach rather than taking aggressive directional bets until after 10 a.m. Instead, use any sharp moves following the announcement to trade the technicals, as we expect heightened volatility in the immediate aftermath. Medium-term investors should watch the tone as much as the rate decision itself, as a dovish pivot could reignite the bull run toward 26,500 or beyond, while domestic fundamentals remain strong. Most importantly, remember that currency weakness remains a headwind for FII flows, so even with policy support, don't chase rallies excessively early. Stay tuned for our evening wrap and send in your questions. Subscribe to this podcast to hear US every day, and don't miss our market analysis and expert insights that you need to navigate today's move successfully.